Silence isn't absence. Sometimes it's the most honest thing you can offer the world and yourself. I've been quiet lately, not because I had nothing to say, but because I was learning how to listen. And for a while, I questioned that. Wondered if I should say something, explain myself, show up even when the words weren't there yet. But then I realized that's exactly the pattern I was trying to break. The need to always have an answer, the urge to fill every space, the belief that I had to keep moving in order to prove that I was growing. Sometimes growth doesn't ask us to move. Sometimes it asks us to be still. There's something that happens when you stop performing okayness and actually sit with yourself. You start to hear things, real things, like how much you were giving from a place that needed receiving first. How many times you kept going when what you actually needed was to rest. How often you convince yourself that being busy was the same thing as being fulfilled. I think a lot of us were taught that stillness is laziness. That if you're not producing, you're falling behind. That your value lives in your output. But silence has a way of dismantling all of that. Quietly, gently, completely. Because when the noise settles, you're left with something much more important than productivity. You're left with yourself. And if you're willing to stay there long enough, you begin to remember who you are underneath all the striving. The quiet taught me that rest isn't something you earn after you've pushed yourself to the edge. It's something you're allowed to choose before you get there. It taught me that not every season is meant to be shared. Some things are just for you, sacred in their smallness. A morning walk, a deep breath, a thought that changes you without anyone else knowing. It taught me that healing doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like a slow morning, a long exhale, turning down the noise, choosing yourself without needing to announce it. And sometimes it looks like loving people deeply, wishing them well, and still recognizing that you need to come home to yourself first. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally started caring for yourself too. So if you've been quiet too, if you've been in a season that feels more inward than outward, I just want you to know that stillness is not the opposite of living. It might be the truest form of it. You don't owe anyone your process. You don't have to perform your healing. You don't have to explain every chapter while you're still living it. Some things are meant to unfold in private. And when you're ready, whenever that is, you'll know. Not because everything is figured out, but because something inside of you will feel settled enough to move. Until then, let yourself rest. Let yourself listen. Let yourself be where you are. That's enough. You're enough. Right here. Right now.